Hello, today I'll teach you how to make this bracelet using wire. So if you want to learn more, keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment and like. Thank you. Okay, so you're going to take 4 wires, each about 19 centimeters or about 8 to 9 inches each. If you're making a 7-inch bracelet, go 2 inches up. If you're making a 9-inch bracelet, go 2 inches up, just for safety. Actually, each side of the go 4 inches up. Yes, go 4 inches up from the bracelet size that you want, and then add an extra inch just in case for the ends. Now here I'm just straightening the wire out. Use a cloth to do that, and just going to try to get them as straight as possible. Okay, now grab your weaving wire. I'm using 0.4 millimeter 24 gauge. If you struggle with weaving or you are new to it, try to go to 26 gauge or 0.3 millimeter. It'll also be a finer weave if you go with a smoother wire, but you'd have to weave for longer. So just make 1 coil on the bottom wire, just wrap around once. Grab your second wire and wrap around it, both of them once, and then come through the middle of those 2 wires so that it looks as if you have 2 wraps around the middle wire. Wrap around it both once, come through the middle of both of them and go up. Now take your third wire and then wrap around the third wire and the second wire once, but come through the middle before you make a full wrap, so that it looks like it's being wrapped around once and the third wire has 2 wraps around it, but not 2 full wraps. So again, add your third wire, then bring your wire over both the second and the third once, and come in the middle between the second and the third before you do a full wrap. Now add your fourth and do the same. Wrap, come up on top of both the third and the fourth, and then here I'm just adjusting. So when you get to the fourth base wire, you're gonna make 2 coils around the fourth one alone, so it will have 2 wraps around it. And now you're going to go down to the third, between the third and the second wire, and you're gonna go make 1 wrap around the third and the fourth wire. So go in between the second and the third, make 1 wrap around the fourth wire, and then you're going to go down between the second, just pushing it together here. You're gonna go down between the second and the first wire and make 1 wrap around the second and the third wire. So go between the second and the first, make a wrap around the second and the third, so that you go in between the third and the fourth while you do that. Go down and make one wrap around the second and the first wire this time, going in between the second and the third to complete that wrap. There you go. So now you're going to go in and wrap twice around the first wire. Now you're going to wrap twice around the first wire, same as you did for the fourth. Twice. This is second coil. So now you have two coils. At this point, if you want it to be a tight weave, you can use your pliers to push it in. But if you want it to be more spread out, to have kind of a triangular shape throughout, you're going to just leave it like this. Now I'm starting the weave all over again. Wrap around the first and the second wire, coming in between the first and the second wire, then go up. Here we go. As you can see, if you leave this wrap, it will eventually become triangular, but you can use your pliers or to push it down. Please use your pliers because it's quite a tight wrap. It's gonna hurt you if you don't. Now you're gonna wrap around the second and the third, coming in between the second and the third to make and to go on top of, and then you're going to go to the third and the fourth, and you're going to continue that pattern throughout. Remember to use your pliers if you want it to be more compact. So continue making this weave for about 3 inches or longer if you need a bigger or longer bracelet. So here I am, and I've pushed my wire in, so it's quite compact. It's about 3 inches long, my weave. Now I'm going to create my diamond shape. Just take your top 2 wires and bend them, and take your bottom 2 and bend them away too. So measure about 1 inch inwards, then you're going to make your triangular bend. So here I am measuring about 1 inch, and you can measure the full length for about 5 inches. Here I'm just checking that the leftover side of the bracelet will be enough, so I'm measuring about 3 inches, and you're going to just bend it in when it comes in. Your total length will be 2 inches for the diamond shape. Each side will be 1 inch long. For those of you who work in centimeters, the diamond shape will be 2.5 centimeters on each side, so it would be 5 centimeters that you need to leave open for it in total. on the top and bottom of each wire. So now I'm just completing the diamond shape. You can just bend the wires outwards and get them as straight as possible. Make sure to work so that the diamond wires top and bottom will be parallel to each other. Please keep note to not make these wires too tightly close to each other, because this design relies on us being able to make space between the weaving wires to put in our pearls. If you want the pearls, if you want to leave it bare, that's just fine. So here I'm just straightening out a little bit. Then I'm going to take my weaving wire and close the diamond shape off. I just wanted to maintain its shape while I'm weaving. After you've begun weaving the diamond, you may undo this if it makes it easier for you to weave, but for now I just want the space and the distance between my two wires to remain constant, so I'm closing it off. So now I'm going to cut off the wire from the spool, the weaving wire that I used to make the first half of the bracelet. You can add on wire here if you either cut it off or you started from a non-attached wire. This pattern is simple. I'm going to make 2 coils around the top, around both of the wires, or wrap around both wires twice. Then I'm going to make 3 coils around the top wire only, not the bottom, the top, the outer wire of the diamond shape. It has to be this shape because we want to manipulate the gaps in between the bottom wires to make our diamond or pearl cluster. So we're going to manipulate the space in between those gaps. That's also why I told you to make sure that the gaps in between your diamonds are not too close to each other, because we do not want to fight it when it comes time to manipulate and get in the gaps. We want it to go in smoothly. So again, 2 wraps around both wires and then 3 wraps around the bottom wire. You may adjust this weave as you want. You could do 1 wrap around both and 2 around the bottom, but I would suggest going for 3 or more around the bottom, the single base wire wraps, because you do want to be able to manipulate it from different points. You want a little room for maneuvering around. So as you can see here, I've undone the wrap I began before, and that's just to make it easier and faster for me to work with these wires. Now that I've established the shape, I don't need the wire to hold them together, but if you are comfortable with the previous way we did it, you're more than welcome to continue doing it. So here I am now moving to the bottom. As you can see, I'm done with the top. The other reason we want to make the coils on this time the bottom wire, the single wrap loops 2 around both and 3 around the bottom, is because we want to also see this lovely pattern come through when we're done with it. Okay, so now we're done with both sides of the diamonds. Now we're going to join them to make one diamond shape. You're going to start by wrapping twice around the bottom wire, then you're going to wrap once around both, and now we've begun copying the wrap that we did before in the previous side. So again, go through the first and the second, go over the second and the third, but coming through the second and the third. So you go over second and third, one wrap, then from behind you're gonna come through the second and the third, then you're going to go above, over, and wrap around the third and the fourth wire, then you're going to go behind and wrap around the fourth wire, but this time you're going to do it twice. So I'm going to leave this full wrap at normal speed so that you can see it well. Put your screen on full screen if you can't see, and here we go. So now we're going to cut off all the excess wires, and you're going to use your chain nose pliers to push them down. Push them, kind of glide the pliers over the ends in the direction that they're turning, and you should be able to run your finger over that area without feeling anything. That's how you know you've pushed it down sufficiently. You have to do this step. You have to push them down. Unless you have a solder or something, then you can just solder it, but in this weave it wouldn't work because there's no way to make it that tiny. We're gonna push it down, and we're going to push it in while we're pushing it down, so that, as you can you see the end sticking out there, and I'm just gliding it over that part there, pushing it, gliding it over any which way that I can. And when I run my finger on top of that part, I shouldn't feel anything. The wire should be completely smooth. You're going to do this everywhere where you cut off the wire. Okay, so now we're going to kind of use our round nose pliers, and we're just gonna coil or make spirals if we have long enough wire at the ends. This is just to get the ends out of the way and to also make them look nice. Here we're going to do a shape because all of them are the different sizes. The loops will kind of sit in a nice asymmetrical type way. You can also cut them all down to the same size. You'll see that on the second side the wires were kind of symmetrical, so I cut down the two outer wires and I coiled them around, then did the two inner wires so that they ended up kind of looking like a butterfly. If you have an anvil and a steel block, you can kind of hit them down. Be careful here, you do not want to hit the weave as I'm doing. It weakens it and it may tear or break off. Also, pay attention to the motion that I'm making. You always want to hit and move away. You do not want to go up and down. Always go down and move away. So here I am making the butterfly shape. As you can see, I'll cut these two outer wires off and I'll keep the middle more or less this size. Then I'll coil it into a butterfly shape. Okay, so for those of you who like the bangle as it is now. This is the completed piece. I'm going to now bend it over, and for those of you who like the pearl cluster, you can watch the next video. You can use anything with a hard surface to bend it over. Here I'm just using some chocolate spread bottle and I'm just making a gentle curve. You will have to use a smaller curved objects, circular, just to make the curve more defined and to complete the bracelet. So here's the finished bangle. If you like to see the pearl cluster, please go to the next video. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you next time.